Mira slipped sleeping pills into her mother's water, and without suspecting a thing, her mother drank it down. Once she had fallen into a deep sleep, Mira carefully wrapped her mother in a body bag, then pushed her to the lakeside, tying her to a small boat. As the boat drifted to the center of the lake, Mira hesitated for a moment, but ultimately cut the rope. Her mother, weighed down by the stones, sank to the lake's bottom, drowning in the cold water. At the bottom of the lake, there were many other body bags, each containing the remains of the countless souls who had perished in this cursed water. Mira and her mother lived in a remote suburb, running a small inn. Strangely, they only ever had one guest at a time. Her mother would carefully prepare meals for the guest, who would then fall into a deep sleep. Afterward, mother and daughter would begin their grim task. Mira would search every corner of the guest car. Her mother would rummage through the suitcase, while the handyman dealt with the guest's discarded clothes. By nightfall, the three of them would wrap the unconscious guest tightly in a body bag and push them down to the Coyote Lake, attaching heavy stones to their bodies, connecting them to the small boat. When the boat reached the center of the lake, they would cut the rope and the guest would sink to the lake's depths. Sometimes, the guest would wake up in the freezing water, but it was too late. They would struggle, but nothing could save them. Death awaited on occasion. A group of guests would arrive together, and the mother would refuse them by claiming there were no rooms available, knowing they couldn't handle such a crowd. The mother and daughter had never made a mistake, and no one suspected them of their heinous acts. However, Mira still had a kind heart. Whenever refugees passed through, she would secretly offer them food. One day, Mira asked her mother if they could leave the inn, as she no longer wanted to kill. But her mother replied that they still didn't have enough money, and that they would leave once they had saved enough. She added, "Do you know, we only kill bad people." Innocently, Mira believed her mother's words. Soon after, a new guest arrived at the inn, and it was clear that he was a wealthy client. Following their usual routine, Mira brought him a cup of coffee. Before long, the guest passed out on the bed. Mira was about to check the car when something unexpected happened. A car suddenly sped up, and a frantic-looking man got out. He told Mira that his friend had been seriously injured and needed medical attention and rest. Mira told him there were no rooms available and urged him to leave, but the man pulled out a gun and threatened her. Seeing this, the mother reluctantly agreed to let them stay. The man held them at gunpoint, demanding that Mira and her mother tend to his friend's wounds. After finally patching up the injured man, Mira rushed to check on the bearded guest in his room, worried that if he woke up, their dark deeds would finally be exposed. However, to her shock, the bearded man had already regained consciousness.